everyone. Hope you're having a great Halloween so far. Happy Halloween. Today I'm just walking around a cemetery. It's the Sandy Mount United Methodist Church Cemetery in Carroll County, Maryland. There's actually a famous person who's buried here, and it's a very old historic cemetery. So I'm going to walk around and show you a little bit and explore the cemetery. This is my first time ever here, and I'm also going to show you who that famous person is in a minute. Alright guys, so you can see the beautiful church right there, and they have a good mix of graves here. Old graves, new graves, the type of graves you would expect to see in the mid-Atlantic region of the United States from the 1800s and stuff. Now, as you can see, this is kind of in a beautiful area, kind of out in the farmland a little bit of forest. Really peaceful out here. Now, like I said earlier, there is a famous person who's buried here, and I probably am going to put the name in the title, so you probably already know beforehand, but we're going to make our way over to where they're buried now. Now, this person did not want a grave, I guess, because he did not want to be remembered as a celebrity. He wanted to just be known as a person. So it's actually an unmarked grave, but he is buried over here, and we're approaching his grave right now. So I'm going to go ahead and say his name, and that is Fred Gwynne, the actor Fred Gwynne, who was most famous for portraying Herman Munster in the TV show The Munsters. And he is buried right about here. As you see, there is no grave. It's an unmarked grave. There's actually nothing here. It would be nice if someone had left flowers, but right about right here is where Fred Gwynne is buried. In his later years, he also starred in the original Pet Sematary movie as the neighbor. He was in My Cousin Vinny. He played the judge. So Fred Gwynne was a pretty famous actor. In his later years, he moved out here to Carroll County, Maryland, where he lived, and he passed away in the 90s. And he's laid to rest right here. So this is the final resting spot of Fred Gwynne on this Halloween 2020. We get to visit the spot of the man who played Herman Munster. Alright guys, as we walk away from the grave of Fred Gwynne to explore the cemetery a little more, I do want to note that I did bring the spirit box with me today. I might use it out here in front of the church in the parking lot. There are some church volunteers that are doing like some work, landscaping work. So I don't know if there will be any interference from them. I don't know if they'll be walking around or anything back here, but we're gonna explore the cemetery a little more, see if there's anything else interesting that stands out around here. Obviously, like I said earlier, it's a very historic cemetery. It has a lot of old graves up front up there, and we're back in like a pretty modern era of the cemetery right now. So I might just play around, because it is Halloween, I might just play around with the spirit box a little bit. I'll not hook it up to the speaker, just have it by my ear and see if anything will come through. And if I start getting any voices, then I'll go ahead and film it and see if we can have a little session back here. If not, then I'll just say, hey, we're not getting anything, so it's probably not an investigation type of day out here. Alright guys, got the spirit box hooked up. So let's see if anything else will come through. Is anyone here with me right now? Can you tell me your name? Can you tell me your name? What's your name? I heard a voice. Alright guys, we got the spirit box hooked up now. Let's see if anything will come through. Is there anyone here with me right now? Can you tell me your name, please? I'm trying to communicate with anyone that's here with me right now. Can you state your name? Is there anyone here with me? Can anyone hear my voice? If you speak, I can hear you. Is anyone here? We just got a voice that came through. Can you speak loud and clear for me? Anyone who's here, tell me something. I can hear you. Back around the area of Fred Gwynne's grave right now. Fred Gwynne, are you here with us? Can anyone tell me their name? Is there anyone back here who wants to talk? Is there anyone buried here who wants to talk to me? Do you guys know you're dead? Is there anyone here? Something came through. It sounded like yes, maybe. I don't know. I'm getting a few voices here and there. They're not really clear. It kind of sounds like they're talking from a distance or something. Maybe they're over there. I don't know. But it's not clear like it was in other places that I investigated before. But I'll keep at it. And if anything else happens, let you guys know. Alright guys, I'm still walking around here. I have the spirit box on in a lower volume, and it hasn't been crazy with voices, but I have I've gotten at least 4 voices coming through. I couldn't quite make out what they were saying. They were quick responses, and they're both male and female, so that leads me to believe there's definitely at least a couple spirits in the cemetery. Who they are, where they're from, what they're doing here, that's what I'm trying to see if I can find out. But if I don't get any intelligent answers or any responses, then I really can't figure that out. I really haven't had any answers to any questions yet. The voices that I have heard have just come through randomly, so I'm gonna keep asking just intelligent questions and see if any of those questions can be answered. So that's where I'm at right now. Alright, so I walked around the cemetery in a few circles here and there with the spirit box running, and I kept getting random voices coming through, but nothing's answering questions. And for the most part, the voices sound like they're in the distance, pretty far away. like they're screaming to you to say something. But nothing's answering any questions I'm asking. So the only voice I was able to make out was "Hey," but I was getting both male and female voices. So I think there's probably a few spirits here in the cemetery. I don't know how much energy they have or what they're capable of, but they're not answering the questions. I don't feel much of a presence here, so I think I'll wrap up the investigation part of this video, because there's really not much going on. But I'm still gonna just walk around a little more and explore some of the graves and look at some, especially in the front of the cemetery where there's a lot of the old graves here. And yeah, happy Halloween, everyone. I would love to be somewhere tonight like Gettysburg or something again, where we get a lot of activity all the time when we investigate. But you gotta think of it this way: Gettysburg on Halloween night, everyone who wants to be a ghost hunter will be there. They'll be running around everywhere. It will be crowded. You get there at 10 p.m. You go down to Devil's Den. There's probably like 20, 30 cars. Everyone's everywhere. You can't investigate with that many people around. It's not the environment. You know, you can go up to Gettysburg in January at the same time at night, and there will be not a soul around. So we will get back to Gettysburg, and we will continue to investigate Gettysburg, where with the spirit box I seem to capture a lot of energy. So we'll get back up there. I'm just going to give it some time. But for Halloween, I thought this was a nice little setting to check out, and it is peaceful here. So I'm just going to go ahead and explore the cemetery a little more, and hope you guys enjoy it. All right, we're back up towards the older part of the cemetery, towards the front, and I'm just looking at graves like this. You know, I grew up my whole life seeing graves like this in cemeteries because I grew up in the Mid-Atlantic region. But for those of you who aren't from around the Mid-Atlantic region or the East Coast, you know, where most of the history is in America, you probably don't see gravestones like this much because they're not really out west like that, you know. But it's always cool to look at how graves and grave markers have changed over the last few hundred years. How they went from being these sandstone like this to being those markers, marble, to square, almost square-like rectangle graves, to like that, to being flat on the ground. It's crazy to think, and it's amazing to see all the changes in graves over the years. It's also cool to see original graves like this that have barely any writing on it anymore, but they're still here. That is someone. It may not be visible to read very well, but that is someone's name, and someone was put here. And it's just amazing to think. Time will take us all eventually, but even our graves will wash away or start to wear down. But it's always amazing to look at this stuff and just see the difference in graves over the years. As you can see, up there is the older part of the cemetery too. All the old graves up there compared to all the more modern graves in the back. So that's just something I like to note. Alright guys, when I see old graves like this that are starting to lean over, starting to fade away, you can't read anything on them anymore, it makes you wonder if the spirits of these people are still here. It makes you really wonder how they feel about this. How do they feel knowing that their grave is pretty much vanishing right in front of their eyes as a spirit, I guess, if they're still here, you know? But it also kind of shows you that eventually, no matter what we do, no matter where we go, we will all be forgotten about eventually. If there's millions of years of time left, eventually all of us will fade away. Our names, our graves, our bodies. And it's just a cycle of life. And I think as your spirit realizes that, you just have to move on and accept it. That you had your time and moment here on earth, and now it's the future's time to live. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Again, this is Sandy Mount Cemetery in Carroll County, Maryland. The feature of today's video was the unmarked grave of Fred Gwynne, but other than that, this was a cool cemetery to walk around, to investigate. We tried to investigate. I did get a few stray voices here and there coming through the spirit box, male and female, but nothing was answering questions, so after a while we just kind of moved on from that. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy Halloween, everyone. There will be a lot more videos to come. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, this is Fixed Image saying peace.